Oh boy. Oh, it's so much fun. All right. Let's see if we can share. Oh, no. Hey guys, whoever, I'm just trying to figure this out. I'm not big on, I've never done, well, I think it's been a while since I've done a live, so I am just also just figuring this out. I think Colleen, the invite, where's Colleen? Oh my God, that's too many people to go through. Search. Colleen. Just stick with me. Oh, there she is. Oops. Why it won't let me invite her? Hopefully she'll come on. Hi, Rachel. So I'm just hanging out. Colleen and I have been talking for a while. We do a podcast that's sorry, I have a habit of playing with my hair way too much. So we do a podcast, and we were just talking. We're like, sometimes we just want to keep talking about a subject, and we're like, well, why don't we keep doing it? Especially her and I on, a margarita or two. We're like, blah, blah, blah. So we're like, yeah, we thought this would be a good idea, which I am not sure it's going to be. Hopefully she can come on in. Oh, there she is. We're going to get a view of you. And I left it open if anybody wants to jump in and join us. I'd love to have anybody come on in and ask questions. Colleen, are you there?
I'm trying to be.
I want to ask, are you emotionally there? Physically there? Well, I hear you, but I don't see you. You're going to have to.
I'm coming. It's working on it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to invite somebody else. Let's see. There you are.
It was working on it.
So how are you doing, girl?
I'm here.
Where's our margaritas? Where's our tequila, right? I'm like, Seattle's actually gorgeous today. It's like our one day. It's like that fake spring, which I hate because it makes you feel like, oh, it's right there. Summer's right there. And then the next day it's like pouring down rain and snowing.
And I'm freezing.
So we get the one day that I'm like, yeah, no.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Take me back to when we were sorry, that was loud. When we were in LA and it was warm in the 70s.
Oh yeah, did it? And then we got to show off our tattoos that we got in LA. Is that cool? It's kind of hinting at my next series. So
I don't know how to show off mine though, because it's kind of upside down and backwards. Yeah. Yeah. I have to play. Maybe if I stand up. What do you think?
There we go. There it is.
So there's a little tease of something coming from Stacey.
Yeah. So anyways, so let's see. We different things we wanted to talk about today. Was there anything you guys wanted to ask us today before we get into this, the different dramas and
we could do a little catch up or people know what we've been up to.
And that's what's the problem right now is you and I have been sitting on things for months and I still cannot talk about them. And I'm just like,
one thing for years,
one thing has been for years. Yeah. And we got to talk about it in LA, which was really fun to somebody. And, and it's another step closer, but it still is that, sorry, we're not quite there to talk about it yet. And and then the other one is just like a simple signature, but that signature makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So, I feel like most of the time,
very soon.
Yeah. Hopefully at least one of them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm always like, oh, my next project, I'm working on it, and I'm like, I can't talk about it right now, but I'm actually, I am doing stuff. I'm actually writing. Well, I'm trying to write. I have to admit, it's been kind of hard. So, yeah, so there's things in the pipeline, but unfortunately I sound like I'm so boring because I'm like I can't talk about any of it, so it just sounds like I'm doing nothing. Um, and fortunately, like I had to kind of pull out of 2 events because of Cooper and my dad and stuff like that happening. So it's just like with life happening, I'm like, crap. But yeah, like yeah, it's just frustrating when you feel like it's right there and you're like, it's so close.
Why don't you talk about like where they can find you and your books for right now?
Well, I would say number one right now, especially with everything going on, because I know a lot of people are wanting to not shop at Amazon so much. If the author has a shop, that is their number one. Please, 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 do definitely go to their shop. And I know that takes an extra step. People like it all right there, easy, convenient. But they're definitely the shop. If the author has a shop, shop there. And usually like we'll put up, like I have 3 free things on there, so it makes it, we offer more up there too. Because right now, and then, it's the typical, like, I don't, only my contemporaries are in KU. Otherwise, I'm like everywhere else. I'm Amazon, iBooks, Kobo, Barnes and Nobles. So, but
So
I
if you
think
want to shop from her personal shop, it is at
you get
stacymariebrown.com/shop.
things like
Um,
this, and you get them signed. Oh, and you get the black and blue pages of those. So, like, these are
yes.
those pretty blue pages.
And we also even have sprayed edge editions available. And if you're tuning in and you have the first 6 sprayed edges, I did add books 7 and 8 to the store the other day. So they are available to purchase, the sprayed edges, so that you have the whole pretty set.
Yeah. And then eventually we're going to be putting up there was special editions, I think, from Arcane, was it? That I
Yes.
have copies of, like, later ones. Not like I don't have a lot of the first Savage Lands or even the Wildlands, but I know, like, when you get, on, like, there's way more.
Mhm.
Um so the people that are, do they actually want to be on with us, or like,
I have no idea. I can't
I
see.
don't know. Like I probably shouldn't have put like the multi-invite, but I was just like, oh, we'll see. We'll see. Again, this is our first time at this. So if there's any conversation, like topics you guys want, especially with so much drama happening. I know there was an author arrested, an author that passed away. Like there's just so much drama happening. And I know, with a lot of our work is being used with that AI, which was 46 of my books, which is basically all of them, was using that, the AI thing that they swipe from. Is it
Yeah.
something Gen?
So it was on Meta. It was it was Lion something.
Lengen, or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
They used 46 of her books to create along with many, many, many other authors, um, to create their AI. And they did it illegally. And their excuse was it would have taken too long to obtain their copyright, and it would have been too much money. So they just went to a pirating site and took their books.
like, so it's like, oh, this will cost me. It's like walking into a store that's really expensive and going, oh, this would cost me too much to actually buy. I'm just going to take it. Like, that's, God. And then what's sad is, like, they hate, especially those guys, they feel they have the full right entitlement to do it, and it just kills me. So, yeah. So that to me is something I'm getting in on a lawsuit with it. So my, lawyer's hopefully going to get me part of that, because it's time. Like, I feel way back when, again, this is going to totally be showing my age, but when Napster, when the music was having this problem, like people were just downloading right and left free music. And I have to admit, I was stupid. I didn't wear, so I was very much a part of that. And then the music industry came together and was just like, we've had enough, like, of our stuff being stolen, and finally stood up and was like, nope, that's it. And they fought against it. And I'm like, we need, as a group to do that, and I just
think
feel
this
like
might do it. I think a lot of people are joining Authors Guild and kind of making their presence known and their voices known that this is not okay. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be some big settlement or, even a big, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not even going to be, oh gosh, how do I even want to phrase this to be even remotely?
I know words are hard, huh?
No, I want to phrase it not in anger, because I'm very angry about this whole situation. I kind of want to be more correct about how I phrase things. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal, basically, that we want it to be, but maybe even if it's just a little bit and it shows people that, hey, it's not okay to do this. Small victories, right? It all starts with small victories. Something's got to change. Something's got to change, because this is,
well, it's funny how people just have such a view of arts and like that it's okay to steal. It's okay for, that they are owed it. Movies on, all the TV, everything, music, everything, it just feels, people a lot of times feel like they're owed it. And I just, without realizing that we create, there's a lot of time and energy and work that goes into creating. Somebody want to join us? I don't know. I don't know if these people are actually wanting to be invited.
I can't do anything. And it's funny because 8 of your books are not only copyrighted, they're also trademarked.
Yeah.
So it's like, hello, you did a double no.
Yeah. And this isn't even the good punishing bad no. This is like, no, you're, yeah. So there's a lot going on right now. I feel like with authors, we feel like we're being pirated constantly anyways. Banned books are, now a new thing. And within that one subject, which I think she deserved probably what she got. I'm going to, the one author that, but I've noticed a trickle down where people are starting to speak up and going, oh, you should now do it to this author that just writes dark fantasy, that, or, dark romance that has, and I'm like, wow, we're getting, that's what's scary, is not that person didn't deserve it. It's that sliding effect of like, well, now this author should, go after this author now. And I'm like, do you then, put the book down. It's, if you don't like dark romance, sorry, Cooper's my poor baby. I don't think he's feeling
bumping and banging everywhere for my dogs.
Yeah.
There's a specific reason why she was arrested. It's not to prosecute people as a whole.
Yeah. And what's crazy, she probably wouldn't be arrested in America. It's because Australia has such different laws.
Yes.
And she, unlike America, would probably be like, oh, well,
I mean, honestly, there's been books like that written and published in America.
I know. Yeah.
So,
but it does do a subject of that slippery slope. And again, I feel like I'm not promoting that was in its own class, but I have seen people put names of people I know of, and their books are, we're discussing policy. I think we're going to already get banned. Jesus. So it's like that. It's a slippery slope of like, when do you just go, okay, the subject's not for me. I'm not going to, that's something that I find gross, but it really is not, a lot of people really enjoy that. There's a lot of subjects, especially in dark romance, I don't particularly find, but I just don't read them, and so I find it a little scary of, we are getting into this purity culture a little bit of like, well, this person was taken down for something extreme. And, but there is that dark romance element that there is, but and I don't feel it's right or wrong. You just don't read it.
Yeah. Don't yuck somebody else's yum. I mean, there's some that are beyond yucky, but again, meh.
Oh, Mindy, thank you. Wow, 24 for my books. I'm like, how many more?
Come on.
Thank you, Mindy. I appreciate that. But yeah, so it's just a subject that I know it's a very tender because I think that's the problem with a lot of these things. Where is that line? Where do you draw the line of what's dark romance and okay in the sense of, because I even find the chili pepper thing crazy nowadays, where I'm like, what are you reading? If you read Ash, my book Ash, with Ash's story, and be like, oh, that was 2 or 3 chili peppers. I'm like, damn, what is out there then?
My line could be somebody else's,
yeah.
What the hell are you talking about? My line's all the way over there.
But yeah, and to me, again, the whole, once you start hitting a pedophilia, no, we're out. Oh my God, stop digging. Sorry, he's getting really upset at me. Come here, baby.
She is talking to her dogs, just so everyone knows. She doesn't have a man behind her or anything.
No, don't have one of those. I'm still thinking of, Charlie Hunnam. I don't know why you didn't want to marry me then. Okay, come here. Sorry. Come here, sweet boy. You are obviously mad because I'm talking. So say hi to everybody, okay?
Hey,
look at that face. He's not feeling good today, so yeah.
I had a bad day too, Cooper.
Oh, I'm hoping it's a bad day. So, little Cooper, yeah. I'm just, like my baby. I'm like, you have to stay with me forever. So yeah, I'm like, if Cooper can bring more people on, I'm okay with using him. He's okay. He's like, Mom, stop. So yeah, it's a scary right now in writing. Where are we going to be in a year? What is from a year from now, what we've already felt a lot of us feel is happening right now, where,
especially our book, with so many of our friends on the cusp of a lot of great things and a lot of exciting things. What if that all gets snatched away? It's very scary.
And I think that's what it's like. I want to come on and be like, I'm a blunt person. I'm really what you see is what you get with me, and good or bad. And I think that's what I want to be very open about is I'm terrified of the two things that I'm should be so excited about right now that such a potential I feel are just going to fall through because of everything happening, and I'm just like, God, I'm just terrified, especially for the arts of art, and that's another thing going back to the AI is, all these things. AI was supposed to be for helping cancer, finding ways to help with those kind of things. And I realized all AI is doing majority is stealing the arts. It's stealing jobs from the arts. Look at when we were talking to somebody in LA, they're in about 5 or 6 years, we might not even have movies as we know it. Yeah. They might all just be AI, and some guy in college can basically make, a movie that, we're watching that it's going to be
we're afraid for their job because they honestly don't even know if they're going to have a job.
Yeah. So AI to me is it's not, and that's what what is the point of having all these robots or, computers, these things programs take over human job? Isn't the point of us is humans? I get so dysfunctional after a while of everybody oh, we're making it more efficient, make it efficient. I'm tired of being efficient then if it takes away people's actual jobs. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're stealing our work so they can sound exactly like us to make a book that, sounds like us without even trying, and people are just going to buy it. I'm like, what? It's music, it's movies, it's books. It's when do we become to that end? Are we coming to that end? And I'm curious what you guys think out there. As much as, we all say, oh, I don't like AI. Do you actually, use it? Do you want it? What is that? Where is that line for anybody? So I love, if anybody wants to join us in this conversation, you can happily join. I know it's a terrifying subject for a lot of us because we feel like right now kind of out of control with it. There's not a lot of control. Like, it just keeps happening, and people, what do we do? How do we stop it?
A person can publish a book a day on Amazon, be ranking in the top 100 consistently every day, be making bank, and it's all computer generated. They never once wrote an actual single word, paragraph, sentence.
It just
kills me.
And so it's like basically like, oh, so I'd have to the very thing that you guys were like at first going to be creating AI and robots for was like manufacturing, which I creating AI and robots for was like manufacturing, which I still think they should be done by human beings. But that was like, and I'm like, so I'm going to have to go back to that job where, a robot doesn't even want to do. I'm going to have to do that because you've taken my job as anything in the creative, so it just feels like.
And it's not even like your job. It's a whole community's worth of jobs too, because there's a lot of people that work behind the scenes too.
That's what, like, again, this whole, what they're doing now, this efficient, I'm like, so just because banning books or banning, it isn't just stopping a few authors here and there. I mean, the jobs we've created in this industry, and I just saw one of them here, Lauren, that means retail of like, you guys make products off of these books that you love, you get, artwork that you love, sweatshirts you love with the print on it, like there's so much, and there's editing, there's the
book covers. I mean, like the book covers are going like AI now.
Yeah. And that's like, I still have that in my contract that I will not use it, but it's just like when we can all try to stop it, but when it's just, I feel like it's just steamrolling over us, like, what can we do? But it's just sad how many jobs are going to be affected off of, this computer writing this book. And the computer doing the cover, the computer doing the editing. So we're just all consuming arts through a computer, like this computer makes this. So we have to, again, it's just like that. I thought we were trying to get rid of the jobs none of us wanted to do, and now taking the jobs we want to do. So again, you guys like love to hear your thoughts on this if I'm, totally off, but it just, as somebody that's always been more in the creative side, like I am not somebody that's done well with math or like done well with jobs. This is who I am. And I'm like, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I don't even think I have a quality, like I have a skill outside of this, which really scares me.
Honestly, I don't think I would know what to do outside of the book community either. I mean, I've done this for the past 14 years.
Yeah.
At this point, like, and even going back to like my like I have a degree in English. Okay. So like I can do a wide variety of things, but even like I worked in advertising, I worked in PR and marketing. Well, that can all go away with AI as well.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do?
I don't know. I'm like, we'll just be out on the streets with our dogs.
I'll be a dog walker. I'd probably be pretty good at that, actually. So
Mindy, do you actually believe that like AI could never be an editor? I feel like they just keep the AI things would just keep learning and learning and learning until they would take that job away. And it's just like, why? Like if we're not helping humans, what are we doing here? Why are we helping
agree that
robots and
editors
machines?
Are essential, but people are going to get lazy and they're going to get cheap. Like it's so easy to throw your book into a computer program and just have it spit back to you.
And that's what it's scary is how many narrators are losing their jobs now too, because they're Amazon's offering that kind of the voice, here you can now do this for cheap and you get your book. And I understand that a lot of newbie authors, that's very exciting, but that just starts and you'll be like, oh, it's just me.
The quality isn't there. And
it just starts. chipping away at those people's jobs.
Yeah. It's not going to be quality.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna notice that it does not have the human connection. There won't be a human connection there, especially even with editing, because it's not going to pick up on the nuances of like phrasing and things like that. It's just not. You can't train. I don't think you can train a computer to pick up on phrasing and just slang even. You can't.
Yeah. Again, right now we say that, but again, they'll start stealing the narrators that are huge right now and start copying their voices, and they're copying. That's that's the problem, is they keep, spending their money and time on this, this instead of like, why do you cure cancer over here? But then,
Yes.
we could go into that. They probably already have. They just don't want to, because then they'll lose money.
Our little nook over here alone.
Yeah. And Lauren, I saw your question. I don't know if there's anything we can necessarily do right now except just keep denying, like you see it, like we just keep pushing back at all, That's the only thing in this world right now, is just resist. I think that is the biggest word we can use on everything right now, is fight back in any way, in the smallest ways. And that's making sure that, you pick up every audio is by somebody, every book cover you see is, by somebody, or every art piece, you use. And I know that's especially, very contradictory of me, because there's times when you're like looking through art pieces, especially when you find one that's exactly the characters you want. And you see this art piece and you're like, oh my God, that's my characters. And it's so hard not to use it. And I know I probably have totally fallen into that. And that's like where I'm being like, but it's trying to resist all that stuff. It's still, wherever we can, fight back. And it just, I don't know if these people actually want to come on. I'm like, go ahead, bite. Oh my God, Cooper does not like when I talk out loud. I think he thinks I'm talking to some, him. So he gets really, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry.
Mindy, cancer is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that's why they don't want to cure it. They want to keep
why they don't want to give us health care. There's so many, and that's why they want to, take these jobs, because they do see that it's a lot of money and romance. And that's what's so disheartening when I'm seeing so much pushback lately. And again, it's that trickle down. The only thing that trickles down seems to be hate, and of this kickback of purity of romance again. These people getting uppity on their horse again. I won't, that one woman deserved it. Like I won't ever. But that again, that flip side of people start going, well, that bothers me now. I don't want that, and it's just like, then don't read it. Just like banning books that you don't want your kids to read. Don't let your kids read them then. But my kid maybe want to. I don't, my imaginary kid. It's just, where's that flipping, that line seems to be pushed a lot lately. And while women are trying to be like, no, we're finally, we're getting stronger with romance. We're declaring what we like. We're being like, very loud about it. We're taking kind of back our sexuality of going, we like sex. We like it written. You guys maybe like to watch it. We want to read it. We want it in our heads. We love these powerful men.
We want to embrace it.
Yeah. We want to embrace it. We're totally coming strong in that. And they're like, oh, let's see how fast we can push this down and again, belittle romance. And Jesus, like, it's just like right now I'm like, okay, we're trying to be positive. And it feels like every day we're like, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So, but it is, it's still right now I feel, because we are so strong, like in the sense of our community, I'm hoping we will come together in this, and no matter what, just fight back in the little ways, the big ways, wherever we can. That's why, I'm joining that lawsuit. I think we just got to stand strong every way we can. Be like, no, you're wrong. And, and I'm tired of these guys that are just rich and wealthy being like, I don't care, I'm wrong. I'm like, well,
it would take too long to get it and be too expensive. Like, you don't have the money.
Right? Right? But I think that it's not too expensive. I think they would know. Most of us would be like, hell no.
Yeah.
We're not selling our stuff to AI. So you can basically train your stuff to take our jobs away.
Yeah.
So I think deep down they knew it was like, it wasn't, they were stealing it because they knew we wouldn't give it to them, no matter how much, So, the cover of Broken Love. Thank you. I love the Shattered. Sorry, switching. I have the Shattered Love, the first one. And remember, guys, if you get the hardback, we're kind of switching topics here. Where's the? I know I see it. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. So.
Where's the middle?
Woo! And the second book has if you've read it, it has the scene in the pickup back of the pickup truck. So those are in the hardback.
I'll be showing that on her Patreon the night before the release.
Yes, join my Patreon, guys. That's another thing. If you want to support authors, a lot of us have the Patreons now that we're giving you insight. There's that their tier, they get a free book, or they're part of the giveaway. I think we're going to be doing
giveaway going right now.
Yeah,
I have a really cool idea that I haven't run past you yet that I came up with today.
This girl, you want any ideas come from her, send her ass to the shower. She's one of those water babies that she'll come out with 10 of them. I'm like, whoa, you must have just taken a shower.
She bought me a waterproof notepad and pencil so that I can take notes in the shower.
I need some ideas. I'm going to just dunk you in the ocean over LA. I'm like, just go take a bath.
She took me to California, okay? We went to this event, and she books an Airbnb next to the ocean. And I'm like, oh, okay. We can't get ideas.
And I'm such a, they get all my, everybody that knows me gets, all my thoughts when I'm walking. Whenever I'm walking, I'm like, oh, I could sit all day and be like, I don't know what I'm doing with the scene. What am I doing? And literally 5 minutes on a walk, I'll be like, oh my God, brilliant.
And the whole
I don't know if it's really brilliant, but I'm like, oh my God.
Does this work? I just came up with this idea.
And yesterday, you gave me a little, and then I was like, oh, what if we made the people at the island? And you're like, oh my God, yes. So if you guys could listen to half our voice, they probably wouldn't make sense to anybody else because we're constantly half saying stuff, and then, yeah.
The thingy, the thingy.
The thingy. Yeah, you get two women through premenopause, and we're like, the thingy of the thingy. And then we're like, I know the thingy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And we actually do, which is
we actually do.
Insane.
Oh, God. I think most things, it could be a door, and I'm still like, the thingy, the thingy there, it opens. And you're like, and this is coming from people that are supposed to have words, that we're supposed to use them. And I'm
all the time, words are hard.
Speaking them, so writing them is different. When I'm in my little world and I get my, though it still is, I have to admit, my attention span is, woo woo. But speaking them or and trying to sound intelligent some days, I'm like, ooh. Ooh.
When we were planning this, she was like, do we have this in us today? And I was like, I don't know.
Do we have words? Do we have words in us today? Oh.
We might have two brain cells to rub together. Who knows?
Some days we have 1 million, and some days there's one struggling for dear life.
It's bouncing back and forth from coast to coast.
I was like, what do you want from us? Yeah, so, let's see, we covered the...
I don't know. What did we talk about?
I don't know.
If nothing else, we're entertaining.
We think we are, but that doesn't mean other people are probably like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to go now. They don't know what they're talking about.
I think your mom's here. She likes us.
My mom is always here. My number one fan. Hi, Mom. Okay. Does anybody actually want to come on with us? I don't know. I don't know if they come up on the invite, if they're wanting to be invited, or.
I have no idea. I don't have my glasses on.
We sound so old. Oh my God. glasses and yeah. We're wondering if you guys, and before TikTok maybe possibly banned again, if you guys are enjoying these, if you want us to do more of these. We just wanted to kind of like, because we do the podcast again, check that out.
Sex, Lies, and Blank Pages.
Yes.
You can follow us, Sex, Lies, and Blank Pages. We're on Spotify and all the other places that you can listen to us.
Yeah.
We're very entertaining there as well.
And it's I think has a lot of information for both writers and readers. Like, I think it's always fun topics to do that. But I just wanted to kind of not come on and here and, like promote books or anything, which, if you guys are interested in talking about those, I can do that too. But just kind of go deeper into subjects that we probably, because once we're on that podcast and we kind of have a time frame, we can be like, oh, I was going to ask this question. And we go off on a tier that like, oh yeah, never talked about that.
Tangents.
Yeah. I mean, we go in the moment. It's just like, again, we like to do like the whole, like we're just at a bar hanging out and talking to our friends. So we kind of wanted to bring that here and just have a little bit more. If you guys want more information, talking, hanging out, or just want us to go away totally, which I totally understand.
This is like our new little thing. We used to do this on her
my
squad page a lot.
Yeah.
We used to just come on and ramble, and we figured, well, we'll try it on TikTok.
We'll try it.
We have a podcast with Willow Winters. It's the three of us, and we have all kinds of cool and interesting guests, other authors and industry professionals that come on, and we just chat about all kinds of different things. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've had some extreme, like really fun.
Yeah.
Really fun guests.
I'm trying to, who do you think was your, I don't want to say favorite guest, but who did you find most interesting that we've had on so far?
Oh my God. You're expecting me to remember?
Mine, I'm going to say was, oh my gosh. What is his name? The guy that wrote Warm Bodies. Isaac.
Oh, Isaac. Yes, he was great.
He was very interesting.
Yeah.
I loved everybody that we've had on, but he was very different and very interesting. And I just really enjoyed kind of listening to his journey.
Yeah. Because he kind of did the opposite of a lot of authors in the sense of, I mean, I've been here forever, I feel. I mean, literally forever. And I'm still, I feel like stepping up, and I'm trying, where his was right out the gate, like hi, like getting a movie and all this stuff. And then it was that journey of like, okay, I kind of tumbled down. Now what do I, it's because, I mean, no matter what, we're going to have a roller coaster ride, being in any kind of artistry, you're going to have a roller coaster ride. But it was more, it was an interesting aspect of him starting out so high and dealing with that down after, and then trying to like, oh my God, because a lot of people that do start out right away huge, and then that doesn't sustain kind of have a problem with it because they don't realize, oh, this is a lot of work out here. I've been like 12 years later, I'm like, yes, I feel tired. And I'm like, I'm still grinding, So it's an interesting, I like to see where people come in, on different and how the industry, you work the industry, because every journey is so different,
Yeah. Isaac Marion, that was his name. You have a question. I don't know if you saw it. Do you have any advice for anyone wanting to write a book or go into editing?
Oh God, such a like that general. I mean, if you want to write, I will say it's a lot harder than people I think it is. That doesn't mean if sit your butt down and you write it. The problem is a lot of people will get like, oh, I have this great idea and I'll get to a certain spot and then it kind of fizzles out. It's that dedicate. I don't know. It's I think it's a drive in me. It's a drive in most authors that like that story has to come out. And so I don't want to discourage anybody. That's never like, I want you to write. And if it's for fun, if it's for actually wanting to do this, and getting your butt in the chair, yes. I mean, that's a big part of it. But finding your voice, finding that story that's a little different, interesting. I don't know. That's a hard one when, because because I just was like, I had no choice. I felt like, because I used to do acting. I was in acting, and then I also did house design, like staging and stuff. And I realized I was always wanting to create worlds. I was always wanting to tell a story with whatever, way I was doing it. So that was always in me. Like I always wrote, I didn't think, like I didn't, when I was younger, like Nikki, you talked to me, she was like, I always wanted to be a writer. I never thought about it, like, until later, because I was like, oh, I'm going to be an actress, AKA waitress. And then I was like, okay, now I'm going to get into design. And, but it was I always liked to write and stuff like that. So I feel like it just burns in you, because I will be blunt honest. It is not for the faint heart. It's not for the thin skinned. And you have to have dedication to sit down and write these full books. But if that's in you, then go do it. And then if you want to get into editing, or you want it like that, maybe is like, oh, that maybe not for me, but different aspects of getting into the industry. Colleen probably would be a good one to talk to about that too. But it is about who you know, and it's about getting, finding maybe smaller authors that are beginning to start. You both are working together, because that's like when I first came up. I mean, this whole thing was still new of us indie authors. So I found the person that like had never done book covers before, and we worked together and we kind of built, up in it. So you have to get something behind you first before, you can't jump to, Rebecca Yaros and be like, hey, can I edit your book? I'm an editor. You have to start, again, baby steps. Yes. So if you want to get into editing, start with get involved in, there's a lot of usually writing clubs and writing meetings that you can meet people. Not only are you writing, but then you can be like, hey, I'm also into editing. You want to kind of, test out. And then that's when you start getting stuff behind, work behind you. Then you can start getting connections and going to these events and talking to people, and people will start recommending you, going, oh my God, I loved working with her and stuff, so it's,
Yeah, you have to build a resume. You have to have samples. Yeah. You have to, because it's not, you have to prove that you know what you're doing. Yeah. Always continuously learning, taking classes, going to the writing groups and the writing clubs like Stacey has, always finding new books. There's a book that's called, I think it's called something like Eats, Shoots, and Leaves or something like that.
I remember that. Yes.
Book. I sent it to Stacey because she's always like, I don't know, I'm so terrible at editing. And I'm like, read this book.
That's so terrible.
That is a great source to have. Like I have it. In fact, I don't have it right next to me right now, but I usually have it right next to me. Like if I'm reading, like doing anything for Stacey as far as like editing or anything, I have it right next to me at all times so that I can just refer to it, make sure I'm doing the right thing. But the number one thing is building that resume so that you have samples. Maybe you can trade services with someone's like, editing and proofreading are two separate things. So maybe like you can.
That's it. Yeah. People don't realize like there's like line edits. There's, content editing. There's so many different editing,
Yeah. So if you're currently editing, you are on the right track. So you have to keep just building that resume. That is the most important thing, getting your name out there. But yeah, and having those samples.
Yeah.
Because they will.
And you definitely will at first be doing a lot more for less, a little bit, like showing like, hey, this is proving like, hey, this is what I've done. Here's my sample. Like, I can do a little like first few pages of yours to show you what because a lot of times you could be also a great editor or whatever you do, but it's the way we work together too. Because, the different editors I've had in my past, there's been some that I work so well with. Like the way they came back to me, I was like, oh, I understand. Okay. Yeah, totally see that. And then there was, editors that didn't last as long, that like it didn't mesh. So it also is personality thing too. But I think it sounds like you're right on the right track. So yeah. And I would say this for any business part of the book world, because it's so big and it's kind of flooded a lot right now. A lot of people want to get into it because it, it's just, slow and steady wins the race. So it's finding that, that work, getting to know people. So it's all that kind of stuff.
I don't have a class. No, neither does Stacey.
No, I went to, especially in San Francisco, I went to a lot of writing classes and stuff. And that's really where Darkness of Light I remember actually celebrating them when that first book came out. I celebrated with the girls I had a writing class with.
A lot of local libraries and just different organizations and communities do have writing classes. So I would definitely reach out to your local library. They're a great resource just to see if they have any place that they can point you in that direction. I know.
Is Meetup still a thing? Because that's how I found mine. It was like when Meetup, before COVID,
Is what?
Meetup? It was called, yeah. It was big before COVID, and then COVID hit, and then people just kind of started. Yeah, but that's how I got into all my writing groups.
I forgot about that.
It was so long ago. It's like, seriously, the rest of all of our generation is going to have was that pre-COVID, post-COVID, So anyway, guys, any more questions? Or are you guys good to go? If you're shut up.
Oh, Mindy, also, you could also join Alessandra Torre's Inkers
group.
Yeah. You can join that even if you don't do her whole program. It's a great source of information too, just to throw that out there as well. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, please.
Tell her that.
We're supposed to be talking or we're supposed to be doing something else?
What day is it?
Oh, I don't have a job that I need to know what day it is. I'm I don't know. I think it's weekday.
I think it's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Let us go places together. That astounds me.
Hey, we just don't need to know these things right now. If I need to know it, I'll know it. But I don't. And I don't care. So, it does. It's like perfect margarita weather. And that's again, it's such an evil taunt because I'm oh, it's right here, summer. And then tomorrow it's thunderstorms and rain for the next week. But, go Seattle.
Stacey, do you have any book of signing events planned? Do you know what they are? Or do you need me to tell them?
She does better than me anyway. I don't know. No, I had to cancel. Unfortunately, there was two. And I'm still sad for Ashley's, but that I couldn't go to. And then the Wendy, I was going to go to the Chicago one. So my next one is as of now, but again, who knows with where we are in the world, is the Vancouver one at the end of July. If we're in war with Canada, I will be on your side, Canada, just to let you know. I'm actually hoping they just adopt us. I'm close enough. I'm Seattle. You can just absorb me. But yeah, so we're supposed to be in Vancouver in July, which is her birthday.
Yes. We'll be there for my birthday.
And then Philadelphia in November.
Yes. And then
we might have, this might be a fun one.
We can talk about it.
Can we?
It just hasn't been totally announced yet.
It hasn't been announced. So we're kind of, I guess, announcing it to the 7 people here. I'm going to be in Delaware in August for with Willow. And we're getting a lot of, I think, other authors with us, but we're going to do a live podcast from the Barnes and Nobles in Delaware there too, which will be
Christiana Mall.
Insane, because we probably should never be live. That's probably not a good plan.
The details if it's going to be ticketed or what, but we will let everyone know as soon as.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to have something fun there, but
yes, we're going to work on having.
She's going to work on it. I got things to do, ma'am. I got to write tomorrow. Is anything that I'm working on I can say? It's romantasy. It's high fantasy. It's my first high fantasy. So But other than that, like, no, I mean, it has all my fun stuff, right? I mean, it has my typical bad boy, enemies to lovers, which I think enemies to lovers, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I can't talk about much. I'm on book 2 though, which is, at least, and then I'm gonna probably take that a little break, and then I'm gonna hopefully go back to the circus one, which that one was it was going to be a spinoff, and again, it's this time I am staying true to this. Their names might be mentioned, but it's that spinoff from Shadowlands where Brexley's. I don't want to give spoiler ways, where basically she does run off to the circus, and so I was going to do a spinoff of that dark circus thing in that area. It won't have a crossover with the people, but names might be mentioned and stuff like that. But I'm hoping that after this, I write this second book. I do want to write a contemporary that's still going around my head, but I got a feeling that's going to be pushed off again. But I want to get started on that, like dark circus, and I think that's going to be so sexy and fun. So I think that's going to be so sexy and fun. So that one's that, and then I'll get back to the third book of that other, and then who knows from there.
Yeah, hopefully in the next couple weeks, everyone will know the one big secret.
And it's funny because it's probably
the one big secret.
And it's funny because it's probably more exciting to us. They're going to be like, oh, okay. They're going to be like, yay! But pretend, guys, okay? Just pretend for me.
We've known for so long. We're just wanting out in the world.
The other thing, we've known longer, and that's just like enough. Ugh, just kill me now.
And so. we're pretty close on that one too. Starting to be able to talk about that one. So
it's so funny. It feels like we're always constantly the ones like, hurry up, we got all our work done. Now it's been the waiting thing. It's just been like, okay. I know there's a lot of things that go behind the scenes, but oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what I'm working on now. And eventually, again, to me, Savage Land is finished, but there might be some day that I do Hannah and Scorpion. Like that's always in my head. And I feel like if it's always kind of in there, that it'll eventually happen. But that's why I said it's done, because it will be years. And I don't want people to be like, oh, I'm going to hold off till that's done. And I'm like, nope. Ash, I think, ended it, for a while. I think if their story comes, it would be, its own separate thing. So. Right?
Yep.
Just nod along. Just pretend. Pretend you care.
I know.
God, I pay you to care.
Just like
they're like, whatever, lady. God.
As I sit here in my office with
all of my shit
of your books,
and you're going to be getting more of them. Sorry.
Like, okay.
Have I ever write a comedy? Well, I mean, if you read any of even my dark stuff, I mean, like Opie and Bitsy, and like, I mean, that's my comedy relief. Like Winterland Hair. Like, I mean, I'm always writing comedy. Will I write just like a rom-com kind of? No, probably not.
Your closest would be Smug Bastard, maybe.
Maybe, but I don't find that funny. Like, I don't go, ha, ha, ha. I actually burst out laughing more with Sprig, because yes, I know I wrote them, but I don't feel I wrote them. Like they will say a line in my head, and I'm like, I will be like dying laughing. And I'm like, how stupid do I look when I'm laughing at myself, what I wrote? I'm like, they really do feel like,
though, Smug Bastard's kind of your lightest of your contemporary to me.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't.
I feel like
I have to admit, I'm not a big. I was back in the day. I'm not a big rom-com. Like, I just think they got so, like, when you're looking at someone like, J-Lo, and she's thinking, she's tripping over herself because, oh, I'm so clumsy. I'm like, oh God, like, I don't like forced comedy like that. So I guess what I like comedy in is I'm the girl that would laugh at a funeral because I'd be just like, I need to get out, you know. So I guess I like comedy in darkness, and that's where I think I always stick, you know.
And you're
is
too
when,
sarcastic for that, I think.
you know, for cute rom-coms, yeah. Like, no, no. I'd be the girl that like would push that girl into the river and be like, oops,
My bad.
so clumsy, aren't you? Yeah, so I like comedy in darkness. Like I am, yeah. All my stuff that I like is humor. It's that comedy in the dark, you know.
People be like, "What is wrong with her?"
Oh,
As you
spent a moment in my head. People would be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Our brand of comedy is not for everyone.
Again, it's laughing in a funeral. So if you get offended by that, you would probably not like my comedy. There was, oh God, what was it? It was called Coupling, and it was in an English. Basically, it was what Friends ended up taking off after, but they called it the giggle loop. That when you start that giggle loop and you can't stop, and they were at a funeral and they got into a giggle loop, and it was just, I'm like, that is so funny. Like, where you're like, okay, and then of course, then their friend, like each one started laughing because you can't stop laughing. So, yeah, I'm a giggle loop kind of person. So, all right. Well, anything else? You guys will probably head out now, but you know, or we could just stay and stare longingly at each other across the states.
Across the country.
Yeah.
Your mom said you've been like that since you were born. She did.
I came out a sarcastic bitch.
I mean,
but if you knew my father, like my sense of humor, like that's how we showed love, you know, like how we could just diss each other. And my dad and I were like the ones that would try to like up each other. So we'd just be sitting at the table, and then my brother would come in out of nowhere and flatten us both. Like he was quieter, but when he did speak, we were like, damn, ouch. So, and then my mom's like the sweet, nice one that's like, I'm just trying to survive here. So that's like, so really like survival in my house was like, yeah, who could be like the biggest smart ass, you know? And my dad and I tried to compete big time, but it was always my brother would come in just like the quiet, like, you know, and he would just have that zinger that you're like, damn, ow.
It was like that with my family too. And even like now with my kids, it's like my son will even say sarcasm is our love language.
Yeah, that is definitely my, and I'm like, yeah, that is definitely my, and I'm like, I think it's a very Gen X thing too of our, you know, generation.
Your mom said she barely survived.
We're the kind that they literally had commercials, guys. If you're too young for this, they had commercials for our parents. Yes, you, mom. They would have like at 10 o'clock at night, do you know where your kids are? They had no idea where we were. It was a great time to grow up. I have to admit, it was
dying
fun.
In a cornfield somewhere. I don't mind.
Yeah, you shake it off, man. That's why we're also very like, why we always like, oh, just shake it off. Like, you're fine. You know, we don't get hurt feelings a lot because
people say, what's wrong with you? How much time do you have?
Yeah, right. The Monty Python of like, it's merely a flesh wound. That was like us on everything. Like we'd be like arm half falling off of our, you know, we fell off our bike and we're like, it's fine. It's fine. We keep going, man.
Just spit on it.
Fine. Just a little blood. We're good. So yeah. So like that, a lot of that sense of humor comes out. So when people are like, do you see yourself in your books? I'm like, yeah, that part. I don't like find characters. I don't like have resemble characters after people, but probably everything in my life, you know, especially the sense of humor will always go back to that drive, you know.
Angie's here.
Oh no. Oh, look at the time. My mom. I see my mom's calling me. I gotta go. So, hi, Ange. If you don't know Ange, you'll know Ange once you meet her.
We love our Angie.
We love her. So, yes, we miss you. We always miss you. Yeah. Crazy girl. All right, girl. Anything else? Catch them up on now. Hopefully next time we'll have more to talk about. I mean, like some of those things we'll be able to talk about.
Yeah. Because there's, a lot attached to those other things. If you missed it today, she had a cover reveal for Broken Love, which is book 2 in her Blinded Love series.
And yes, I write contemporary too. Most people don't realize that. I now go under the S. Marie. So I tried to separate it. So it's Stacey Marie Brown for my paranormal and S. Marie for my contemporary. And even if you don't think you like contemporary, again, it's my sense of humor. So it's still, twisted and all that stuff. It just maybe minus the magic, but it has everything else.
And
Bad Boys.
Is dark at times.
Yeah.
And if you want to support, she does have a store on her website, stacymariebrown.com.
And I also have on TikTok, if you want to follow my Twisted Fairy Publishing, I also have a TikTok with that too, where I'm selling the books on the shop and stuff like that. If you want to just join, just say hi to me there. I just separated because over there, business, you can't use all the fun music and stuff like that. And I have to admit, I like the fun music. I'm like, what are you thinking, Mike?
Let's see. She's posting more on her YouTube now. And also she has her Patreon, which is Stacey Marie Brown. When you go onto Patreon, you just type in Stacey Marie Brown and she pops up. And she has lots of fun stuff coming up on there, along with a really fun idea I came up with.
I love this idea.
That we haven't talked about yet.
Must be a grand idea.
And let's see.
So let's say the podcast, the shop, the Patreon.
Yep. Don't forget about the podcast, Sex, Lies, and Blank Pages. We're on season 2. We're on a little bit of a hiatus right now because Stacey and I came back from LA half dead with the flu. So we're a little bit behind in recording.
And then getting Will, because she's like constantly, like she's in Florida right now. And she's constantly gone. So sometimes our schedules get a little nutty. Yeah.
But we have 3 in the can. We're just waiting to get edited and we'll be going again. What else? But there's plenty to listen to if you haven't listened to yet. There's like a season and a half, so you can listen to those. What else? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Did I cover everything?
I think so.
All the important stuff?
And I think right now in this time when people are like going, well, what can we do for authors? It's following those Patreons. Mm-hmm. It's, going onto their shop and getting from their shop instead. I think a lot of us are pulling away more from places like Amazon and stuff. And maybe that subject of, I know it was blocked for a while. I tried to really limit, but the one thing I don't think helps blocking is buying books, like especially ebooks and stuff like that. I know a lot of authors that really are hurting off of this, and that doesn't really hurt Amazon. No. It's like there are some things that I know, and it's really difficult to weigh because it's like, well, I don't want to support them, but at the same time, when all these authors, and I do think the authors get hurt worse than Amazon ever could, for that.
Don't understand when authors in KU, you are locked into that in 3-month increments. So if they're in that 3-month period, they cannot leave that contract. So if they're within that and you're boycotting Amazon, that's their only choice. That's the only place.
And that's their only income. So books. Yeah.
So if you're saying I'm not going to buy your books because you're on Amazon, then that's hurting them.
Yeah.
So, it is a double-edged sword type of situation where you really don't want to shop there, but at the same time, you want to support the authors.
Yeah. I mean, a while back, and I remember even feeling this, I knew we were getting in bed with the devil, but at the same time, now we're kind of like, we're stuck in a toxic relationship we can't get out of. But we're trying slowly. There's a lot of us that are like, screw it, I'm going to open my own shop because I'd rather, offer everything that I have on mine than this, Amazon. All of a sudden, what if one day decide that, my romance is a little too steamy and they're going to no longer, have it. So I was like, I want a place that they can always find me. So I think a lot of us are trying to do that now. So definitely support dear indie authors. Well, support all authors, but
Yes.
Oh, and Cooper, he's doing okay. He's not feeling too well today, which kind of is making me upset because, every day's he's pretty good. But yeah, today we had to kind of cut his walk short, but hopefully tomorrow, I'm hoping that he'll be fine tomorrow. So, all right, Cole, I think this is it. I think we've bored them enough.
But we're funny.
Again, we think we're funny, and we think we're even funnier when we're drinking margaritas. But I don't know if other people find us so funny.
I'm watching House Hunters.
Watching, or the million, what was it, the $1 million? Or
My Lottery Dream Home.
Yes, which is never a lottery dream home. It's never. Don't let that show fool you. It's like the most ordinary house. I'm like, dude, they have bigger houses on, House
Love
Hunters.
you, Mom.
All right. Talk later, girl.
Bye.
Bye.